Hi, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. Can we do a quick audio check? Can anybody hear me? Okay. Well, hello, everyone. It's Don once again, and welcome to another Gold Wingnut Live. So, how's everybody doing today? We got a few people. Oh my gosh, we got 53 people on right now. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. So, we'll start out. We'll open the floor up for questions. Anybody got any questions at this point? There's always a big lag. We also have a Zoom call opened up. We can transfer to that as part of this. And you can ask your questions that way if you want to do that instead of typing. We can have an easier two-way conversation, that's for certain. Everybody hears me, so that's good. All right, well, if we don't have any questions, I've got a big topic. Well, I don't want to call it a big topic, but a question that comes up frequently is about the watering. The use of the rainwater for that's collected in the retention ponds for the golf course, and why can't we use it in the homes? So let's, you know what, we've got a couple of quick questions coming in here. Do you know the projected number of homes or population in Middleton? Middleton ultimately is scheduled for over 8,000 homes in the multi-generational community. And that's a lot. I think there are roughly a quarter of that right now plotted. So there's a lot to come with that. So yeah, Cheryl, there was it was supposed to be a live broadcast of the VHA recreation event, and it went live on YouTube and it went live on Facebook at the same time. There were some technical issues at the recreation center. We dropped a network connection and it screwed things up. That's why it was only a 15-minute call or a 15-minute presentation on YouTube. And I'm still not sure where things ended up on Facebook. So, let's see. Kim Oz wants to know, any permits pulled for a new Genesis in Middleton? Not that I have seen yet. And Terry wants to know, what's your early feedback on the Shallow Creek golf course? Well, I've played it once, and I've had some friends play it, and pretty much the takeaway is there's not a lot of trees on it. It's kind of flat. Well, that's pretty much what it started with. It's not as flat as it used to be. That was all really just pasture land when it all started, and there wasn't really anything there, and they left as many trees as they could. They left the Eagle Preserve there. That was a stand of trees, but beyond that, there wasn't much out there. I'm working on a then and now segment for video number 149 that is going to go through the Middleton area and compare it to what it looked like I don't remember if it was 2022 or 2021 when I shot the first video. But that's in the agenda for the next video. Magic the Mastiff says, congrats on your win. Way to go. See you in 2026. Don, what drone would you recommend for beginners? Thanks. More than just beginners, because the nice thing about the drones is the ones that are out now are extremely good. Really, it just becomes a matter of price and how much you want to spend. And, right now, best bang for the buck, if you want to get in cheap, is a DJI Mini 4 Pro. It's a great little bird. Does 45-minute flight time, 4K camera, lots of bells and whistles and features. And you're talking about $1,000 for the drone with the remote that's got the built-in display and 3 batteries. So it's a pretty good one. Tammy, hello to you too. Okay, so are we getting commercials while we are getting commercials while you're speaking? I apologize for that. YouTube puts them in there. I could turn them off. I've got them turned down to the minimum, and I apologize for that. I've got them turned down to the minimum just because turning them off, basically, there's no revenue generated out of this. I make, from what I can tell, roughly half a cent per person who tunes into the broadcast. But yeah, so I got to leave it on just a little bit. Victoria wants to know, do the new built veranda homes come with ceiling fans and recessed lighting? Yes, they do. They don't come with light fixtures on the ceiling fans, but you can get those relatively inexpensive on Amazon. You can get the generic ones because they have the threaded 3/8 inch diameter hole in the middle of the caps, so you can screw any light fixture onto that. So that's an easy one. Okay, so let's go over to the question that I talked about. Do you want me to help as Zoom host? John, if we got anybody, yeah. Oh, let me turn it. Pardon me. John is asking me about a Zoom host. let me throw this over to him. If I can remember how to do it. Post tools. You know what, John? Right now, let me get focused on. Let me stay focused on this. I apologize. I don't see anybody coming in to the Zoom call at this moment. Let's see. All right. So Steve wants to know when your next video is coming out, and will it include Well Point at Edenfield? Yes, it will. It should have been out, 7 minutes ago. But Friday, a whole bunch of homes went on, or lots went on sale over at Well Point, and I decided to scrap it because there was some additional information that came out that I wanted to include. In fact, that video is sitting on the other monitor. It looks like it's playing in the background. It's the working copy of it so far. But that should be out tomorrow, latest Tuesday. I just got hung up with it, with making those last minute changes. All right, so let's take a look at this question here, because I thought this was a pretty good one. Let me get over to my PowerPoint. So this was in Village's News, letter to the editor. It said, "It really frosts me watching all the Village's sprinklers running all over after a major storm so golf courses can reopen, while I look at my newest CSU bill and see a $200 charge for irrigation water. If the residential sprinkler system is tied into the same water source that the Village's landscaping system is, we should be getting free or discounted water during these periods when there is an oversupply. Then we could all run our sprinklers to get help with the pump, get the ponds lowered. Why is this not a great idea?" And this is from Chuck Culver over in Pine Ridge. So interesting question. Heard this many times. He posted this on Village's News, and I've seen it posted on Facebook and Talk to Villages and a whole bunch of other places. So let's talk about why not. Okay. There's two separate distribution systems for the two irrigation systems. They're sourced from the same source, which is the retention pond water, but they're not connected. It's reclaimed stormwater runoff, and the lower Florida aquifer is used as a backup source of water when the retention ponds aren't there. So again, these are two separate distribution systems for the water. So let's talk about some of the issues that go along with it, okay? First off, there would be thousands of connections needed. You're going to tie into every home's irrigation system, okay? For each home, you'd need an additional control valve and a backflow preventer valve, which is significantly a significant amount of cost. One or two is one thing, but when you're talking, literally thousands of homes, it's a lot. Plus, the system is automated, so there has to be a control point for every home in the control system, which is hours and hours. Literally, it would probably be literally thousands or hundreds of hours of programming. I've done large-scale programming like this before. It's tedious, but it could be done if the system has the capacity for that number of control points. There'd be lots of additional piping needed. Because these two systems are connected, you'd have to reconnect them, and you'd have to tie into every single home's system, because every home is controlling their own irrigation system, okay? The pumps also have a limited capacity. If you tied into everybody's home, and then everybody decided, oh, well, it's raining, let's turn on our sprinklers, you'd get very little water out of the system because the pumps are designed to pump at a certain capacity. If you open up too much, too many valves get opened, you lose all your pressure and you don't get a tremendous amount of flow. So it would be counterproductive. Okay. There'd also be a huge increase in our maintenance cost, the maintenance assessments. In the maintenance assessment already, there is a certain amount of money in there for maintaining this system. And, there's a limited number of control valves, limited number of sprinkler heads. So it doesn't make sense to add literally thousands of more control valves and that to the system. The maintenance cost would be tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Okay. There's also hundreds more acres of residential versus right-of-way and common areas. Quite simply, there's not enough water to go around. There wouldn't be. It would be too difficult of a system to control. There's just no way to make something like this work. Okay. Then you'd have to deal with the complaints. These are the fun ones. Okay. I'm getting too much water. It's ruined my lawn. I can see it already. Somebody says, "Oh, ruined my lawn. You overwatered it, made the roots weak," which is really what happened when we had Irma. The 3 golf courses between 466A and 44, which are Evans Prairie, Bonifay, and Belglade. They had so much water put on them for so long, trying to pump the water levels down. The root system got weakened, and it took a lot to recover the course. They had to stay closed another month just to let the strength of the grass's roots strengthen up. Okay, I didn't get enough water. You ruined my lawn, so you're going to get it either way. Okay, the water's contaminated. It ruined my lawn. Why is the water contaminated? Because this is a street runoff. So you're going to have, somebody's got a little oil leak, something gets washed down the storm drains, whatever. That eventually is going to get on your lawn. It's going to screw things up. But people will complain about it, okay? The system is broken. The district needs to fix it. I can see it already. Somebody gets a big water bill and says, it's not my system, it's the district system. So anytime there's a problem, then the district has to send somebody out to look at the system and validate whether it's the home irrigation system or the district's portion of it. Okay? So by default, everybody's always going to say it's the CDD's fault. Who's going to pay for that service check? Okay? Who is going to pay for that? Because that is a tremendous amount of time that, every time you got to send a service technician out. Okay? I didn't save any money this month. I can see it already. Oh, the sprinklers are running. I didn't save any money. Really? How would you know? The only way you're going to know is to put a third meter on the system, because you're going to have 2 sources of water feeding your irrigation system, plus your regular potable water system for your house. That would be 3 meters. Guess what? Those meters are expensive, more cost. Somebody's got to read them, the whole 9 yards. It's just not economically practical. Okay? People say, I don't want to participate. Okay. The retention pond behind my house has gone dry or is too full. I hear it all the time. Read your deed restrictions. You'll see that there's no guarantee on the level of those retention ponds, but people nonetheless will complain. So these are just some of the complaints. Okay. But the real question is, how much would you really save? So I own 2 homes. I looked at my water bills for the month of August. My home in Hillsborough, irrigation was $17.61. That was for 6,000 gallons. And that's on the high side for a courtyard villa. The house I own in Moultrie Creek used 10,000 gallons. It cost me $32.48. Okay. The rates for water, if you're in CSU, which is the area's basically 44 north, it goes on a graduated scale. 0 to 7,000 gallons is $2.92 per thousand gallons. 7 to 14,000 gallons, it's $4.89. And if you use more than $14,000, it's $6.76. And down in Moultrie Creek, which is the Gibson system, the rates are a little bit less, okay? But let's go back to Chuck's letter. He said a $200 charge for irrigation water. Really? So, you know, if he had the first 7,000 gallons, it's going to cost him $20.44. Okay? The next 7,000 gallons is going to cost him $34.23. Here's where it gets really great. He would have to use another 21,500 gallons to bring his bill up to $200 for irrigation water. That would be a total of 35,500 gallons, or approximately 50 gallons an hour, running in his yard 24/7. He would have a swamp if he put that much water in his yard, because that's what it would take, 50 gallons an hour, which means, you know, normally that's going to be probably 2 zones running 24/7. He'd know. So, Chuck, I'm sorry, I ain't buying it. You're not costing you $200. Irrigation is much cheaper than you think. You know, if you saved half, okay, remember what I spent, $16. So I'd save $10. You would spend more, you'd get a bigger bill than that annually for your maintenance assessment increase just because of the added equipment. It's just not a practical solution. It won't work. Okay. All right. So it looks like we got some more questions. So let's go back over to the other monitor here. Where can I find a map of all the golf courses in the villages? And this is from Rita. Go to districtgov.org and you will find some maps, and that's where it'll show you where they're all at. That's the easiest way I can tell you, districtgov.org. So Tom R says, will there be, excuse me, will the WellPoint, new tongue, sorry, I can't see what I'm saying. When will the new WellPoint pool, when will the WellPoint adult pool, family pool near WellPoint, or the San Tropez Pool Rec Center open? So I would say the WellPoint probably another month. When the people start moving in, it will open. There's no reason to open up ahead of that. Some of the homes in WellPoint that are being built, my understanding is they are scheduled to be what do they call it? Lifestyle preview, and they're going to start closing down some of the Atwood villas and some of the Luna lifestyle preview homes and moving them farther south. Why? Because that's where all the homes are being built, putting people closer. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Wow. So Hot Job KT says, purchased a lot on Friday in WellPoint. There is 4 sets of lifestyle homes going in, and most are complete and furnished, ready, plus 47 more, plus 47 new model homes going in as well. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting numbers. I knew that at least 2 sets of lifestyle preview homes, the first set of patio villas and the first set of cottage homes were going to be that, but I haven't heard it beyond that. But yeah, Friday, a bunch of lots went open, came on the market, and things are moving forward now in WellPoint. All right. Let's transition back to, We got another question here. This is from Tom. It says, "Hi Don, I'm hoping to purchase a lot in Moultrie Creek and build a designer home. That necessitates making hundreds of design and finish choices in just a 2 or 3 day window. I found limited details on the village's website about the design process, timeline, choices, and what must be selected or available options. Does the developer offer any credits if a buyer doesn't want the village's lighting fixtures, landscaping, flooring, appliances, etc.? Or must the buyers accept the basic offered and upgrade items later? Can buyers stay in a lifestyle home during the design process? How many days do the design process meetings last? If you can share your experience and recommendations about the design process and timeline, that would be helpful. Thank you." And Tom. Well, some great questions there, Tom. Now, I've never been through the design process, but I have talked to a lot of people who have. So, yes, there are lots of choices. Do you want the square outlets, or do you want the original oval outlets? That's a choice. Which drawer pulls do you want? Things like that. So yes, there are lots of it. Which do you want, a 6-panel interior door, or do you want a 4-panel interior door? There's lots of little things like that. Most of those decisions you'll make very quickly, and they're not big deals. Light fixtures, things like that can be a little more tedious. Obviously, things like cabinets, the choices are limited on what you can choose from. But landscaping, there's a basic landscaping package. Flooring, you got a couple of choices. Usually it's carpeting, luxury vinyl, tile. Appliances, there's several appliance packages that you can choose from. So let's talk about some of these. Yeah, a lot of them, let's take landscaping. You can take the basic landscaping package, minimal. Ask for the minimum one if you're not happy with what you see. I will tell you from what I'm seeing down in Moultrie Creek, most people are redoing their landscaping. The landscapers are going crazy down in Moultrie Creek with all the work they've got going on. And they do a really nice job. And honestly, it's going to be cheaper for you to do it that way than to have the villages do it. And you're going to get more of what you want because they have to limit their selection on what they're going to offer. Just because otherwise it'd be too crazy, too many things going on. Similarly with light fixtures, if you're not happy with what you see, then take the basics. Okay. Same thing with ceiling fans. If you're not happy with what you see them offer, you're going to have to take the basics and just leave it at that. Flooring, again, ask for the least expensive if you're not happy with what you see. Appliances, man, I've heard that they give an appliance allowance on a custom build, but it doesn't cover a whole lot. The appliances, I can tell you, they wouldn't be my first choices. If I ever move into Moultrie Creek, the dishwasher's out of there. I test ran it the other day. I was in the master bedroom closet talking on the phone, and I could still hear the dishwasher running, and that's one thing that just drives me nuts. One of the other things that I'll say, and I've seen a lot of people take advantage of this, if you know you're going to want a lot of upgrades, take the basics. Just take the basics. If you put $50,000 worth of upgrades into that house when you're building it, okay, in furnishings, not in floor plan, you have no choice. Do the floor plan changes that you want. But the rest of the things, crown molding, stuff like that, you get a better selection, it'll cost you less. But here's the thing, it doesn't go into the sale price of the house. And that's what the property appraiser is looking at. I watched one of my customers, they dropped another $150,000 in their house after they had it built. It was a big, beautiful house. And I'm looking at it, it had linoleum tile, garbage countertops. Everything was rock bottom. I went back a week after they closed, and everything had been ripped out, and they were redoing everything because they didn't see what they wanted. And then they talked about the tax advantage. They saved property taxes on $150,000 worth of value. If they ever sell it, obviously the next homeowner is going to pay the price. My understanding is, yes, many people do stay in the lifestyle preview homes during the design process, and I've heard anywhere from 3 to 5 days for design. So that's my input, Tom. And that's based on my discussions with some of the realtors, my discussions with people who've been through the design process. Pretty much everybody is consistent. Let's go back over to the other. Let's see. Ed Starr says, yes, you can stay in the lifestyle villa during your design meeting. We did in late May. Buying a spec home made it much easier. I couldn't imagine making all those little decisions. I can understand that, Kim. Victoria, thank you once again every week. You're so generous. I appreciate the contributions. They really do help make ends meet doing these. All right. So that was a good question, though. Lifestyle, the whole design process is it can be intimidating. Let's see. John says we had a designer that helped us save money and make better choices. Yeah, like I said, I've seen some folks that have put the basics in. They wanted the floor plan. They're going to pay for the floor plan. They're going to pay for the extra square footage, and they get the cheapest cabinets, the cheapest countertops, the cheapest flooring, and leave it at that. I mean, even something as simple as electrical receptacles. Electrical receptacles are dirt cheap, and it doesn't take. It doesn't take a whole lot of knowledge to change out an electrical receptacle. I've been playing with electricity since I was 10 years old. I've been shocked a few times. But changing out electrical receptacles, light switches, things like that, it's relatively inexpensive, especially these days. If you can find what you're looking for, you can buy contractor packs on Amazon for, they might charge you $10 to replace a receptacle in design. You can get it from Amazon for, $1.25, and it takes, 3 or 4 minutes to change out a receptacle. Just got to remember to turn off the power. You never know, and make sure that the spouse isn't around to turn the power back on. Just hand of advice. Anyway, all right. So let's go back to the questions since nothing else is coming. Where are we at on time? We're only halfway through the hour. All right, so next question. Jody says, I'm buying a new home in Shady Brook. Do you recommend a home inspection for a new home? If so, do you have any recommendations? Thank you for all you do. So Surf to Turf, you see it on the screen. Tom does a great job. I'll talk about that in just a minute. I highly recommend you have 7 days for the builder's warranty, to file your claim. When you know you're closing, get an inspector lined up, get them in there, have them go through the house with a fine-tooth comb. It is worthwhile. They will find things you will not find. As I said, Tom, I worked with him. Tom is the owner of Surf to Turf. I worked with him on a friend of mine's house, Jim. He was there 3 hours. I stood around and watched him work. He was up on the roof. He was in the attic. He was absolutely everywhere. He found he found 25 things. And, all of them needed to be addressed, So is it worth getting an inspector in there? It absolutely is. yeah, it's going to cost you $300 or $400 to have somebody do a quality job, but it's worth it. You don't want, to have problems. You Tom tested all the appliances. He tested everything. Made sure all the light switches were good, all the electrical receptacles were properly grounded, had neutrals, everything. So yes, do get one. And again, Tom over at Surf to Turf, I'm sure he'll appreciate your business. I'm really impressed with the work he did. So Chris says, Chris is one of my customers he's building a house and I'm taking pictures of it for him all the time. He says, went through design process in July. We got basically 2 days to make all of the selections. We did get to stay in a village's property during the stay. Agent indicated it depended on availability. Okay, yeah. Jerry Bell says, does the villages have the 1% rebate if you sell your house and buy another with them? Honestly, I don't know. I've never sold a house through the villages. I bought 2, but I have never, and they were both brand new, but I have never sold a home. So maybe one day I'll find that answer out. Actually, I'll talk to my realtor. Trishko did a great job working with us to buy the new house, and I'll ask her. Let's see. Ed Starr says design meeting is 3 days long. First day you make all the choices. Second day you are free. You are free while they put the package together. Third day review the contract and allow you to make changes. Okay. Diane says, hi Don, how about excuse me, how about a year out? Do you think it's wise to do a home inspection then? Yes. At the 11-month point, I would start making phone calls, get a home inspection, and get the house checked again. They're going to see things like maybe some settling. No, I'm not going to say settling because I've been in a lot of houses. I've never seen any significant issues with any kind of settling, any kind of foundation cracking or anything like that. That's part of all that work that the bond pays for in prepping the ground really keeps us from having a lot of foundation problems. But definitely get an inspector, have them go through the house, find anything new that might have cropped up so that you can get it taken care of under warranty. It's definitely worth your time and effort. One of the things too is you want to get the inspection done before you move in, because things like if there's scratches on the counter or the appliances or the cabinets, you want those documented before you move in. Because as soon as you move in, I'll tell you what they're going to say. Wow, that you put the scratches in there after you moved in, and that's not covered under warranty. So, let's see. Timothy asks, Don, any difference in build quality between a precast wall and block? For example, is one quieter than another? So quieter than another? No, I don't think so. My courtyard villa that I'm in right now, it's a poured concrete wall. They used to take and put foundation or forms up, metal forms up, put all the rebar in, and then there was a line of cement trucks, and they just filled the walls completely in one day. And then it sat for 2 days, and they take away the forms, and my walls are solid concrete. So the block wall, they fill them with concrete, or they call it grout, when they put the rebar in the cells. So they're very solid too. The precast is probably, in my opinion, the precast is definitely the best built home right now, because there's a lot of things that have to happen with it. First off, block home, you get rebar going vertical. With the precast home, if you look at the plans, there is rebar going vertically and horizontally on 12-inch centers. So you've got lots more steel in there. Everything is computer controlled, and so the walls are perfectly square. They're flat, and because everything is so tightly controlled at the factory, the foundations have to be flatter. They have to be smoother, and you know, I've seen it. I've gone through enough homes where sometimes you get a little wave in the concrete. You can't get around it most of the time. It's not so much though in the precast homes, because it shows up instantly as soon as they go to set those walls. Because the walls are perfectly flat, the concrete's got to be perfectly flat to make it mesh up really well. Let's see. But yeah, I definitely think the precast are, I think they're a superior product. You know, once, everything's held together, they've got steel cables between the panel, the panels, plates, whatever they're called. They drop a piece of rebar between these panels into these steel loops to hold them together, and then they inject it with high pressure grout to fill that gap. So everything is just absolutely rock solid. And something you won't see in a precast home that you will see is stair-step cracks when you have the concrete block or CMU walls, cinder block, whatever you want to call it. You will see those on occasion. You won't see that with the precast. Let's see. Joe says the Villages is excellent correcting the anomalies the inspector finds. It's been 10 years, but I assume it hasn't changed. No, it hasn't changed. They are really good. After I turn in all my inspection hits on my investment property, within 2 days, I was getting calls back from everybody, and within a week and a half or so, everything was done. There was one thing I had to wait on. They replaced a cabinet door. And what's amazing is the guy came out to look at the cabinet that I noted. He found something else, said, I need to replace this door. So he ordered the door. I didn't even identify it. He ordered the door and took another week or so to get there. And he came back and put it in. So Victoria wants to know, are the new built veranda models block or precast? They're precast. DZ Precast, who's the manufacturer, has been really upping their capacity, and I would say right now 80, almost 90% of the homes being built are the precast walls and not the block wall. Let's see. Pat wants to know, are you allowed to go on the golf courses after closing time? I totally agree with you about the dishwasher. No. Golf course, you're not supposed to be on the golf courses after they're closing. No. How are the windows and electricals installed in the precast walls? So that's a good question, Jim. The windows are installed at the factory. And the factory is right here in Sumter County. It's just down the road from Moultrie Creek and Middleton. The windows are put in the mold, and then they're set in their correct location, and then they pour the concrete in, and basically the concrete fills in all the gaps. There are no air gaps around the precast wall windows. It is concrete all the way to the frame. Yes, if you decide 10 years from now you want to replace everything with Anderson windows, good luck, because it is going to be a nightmare for you. Let me just check this here. Sorry. Okay. Nothing going on over on Zoom. May have to discontinue that just because it's not being very popular. Anyway, so that's the windows. They are full. I had one customer who had a precast home built. There was some mix-up at the factory. There was a problem with the window. They had to cut it out. It took them 2 days to cut that window out, and then they put it back in and they regrouted it and all. You can't tell it now it ever happened, but yeah, it was 2 days to cut it out. It was a big, big deal. The electrical, there's a feed through for the electrical main to come in, but there's an inch of insulation, and then they put a 1-inch furring strip on top of it before they put the drywall on the exterior walls, and that's adequate for getting all the electrical lines in the walls and all the receptacles and switches put in. So, and that's done after the fact. Chris asks, is there a retail center planned in the Eastport area like Magnolia Plaza for shopping, eating, and gas? Definitely shopping and eating. I don't think it's going to be the same as what you see in Magnolia Plaza. It will be more like what you see in Brownwood and Lake Sumter Landing. But yes, there'll be shopping. Excuse me again. Lots of places to eat. I looked at a graphic of Middleton, and it showed at least 11 different places to eat going in Middleton. And, right now, what do we know? We know we've got a coffee shop. We don't know who it's going to be. We got Middleton 24. We got Four Rivers. We've got Victory Family Sports Grill. There's an ice cream shop. That's 5 right there already. And, there's still lots and lots of space there. So, let's see. Jerry Bell says, does your home with concrete walls have visible seams between the concrete slabs? Are those expansion joints, and how are they sealed? So, my courtyard villa, which is the poured concrete, there are no joints, no seams, no nothing. It is solid concrete from one end of the house to the other. In the precast home over in Moultrie Creek, yes, there is a vertical seam. There's also a horizontal seam. Basically, you see it's about a 1/2 inch seam between each of the plates and each of the segments. It is filled with concrete, and then it is, so that seals it right there. And then they also, put some, I don't know what the sealant is on it, but, you can see the joint, but it's cosmetically, it's not that bad. Let's see. Timothy says, how are the homes for investments these days? Still the same level of occupancy, or because they are more expensive, is it not worth it for investment in your mind? I think it's still definitely worthwhile investment. I say that, but let me clarify. If you're going to invest in a long-term rental. Do your neighbors a favor. Short-term rentals, Airbnb, Vrbo, all these other ones, they're a nightmare. They are a nightmare. I live in a courtyard villa. We had quite a few. I think 2 or 3 doors down. One of them is still a short-term rental. Drives us nuts. Absolutely drives us nuts. Middle of the week, all of a sudden, there's a pile of garbage out front because they checked out. It's very annoying. It doesn't make for a good neighborhood. But long-term rentals, we have many friends that are in long-term rentals, and it's great, and we love them. Let's see. But no, I will say that from an investment side, because of the current interest rates, man, don't finance. If you need to go into it on a cash basis and pay for it to make it worthwhile, because the interest is horrendous. All right. let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Ed 2000 says, our dishwasher is quiet that came with the Aspen we bought 7 years ago. Perhaps they are cheapening the quality since then. You know, I don't know, because one of the first things I replaced in this house was the dishwasher. I absolutely hate a noisy dishwasher, and I guess that's a personal preference. I bought the quietest dishwasher I could find on the market, and I had it put in. And eventually over in Moultrie Creek, that would be the plan also whenever we decide to move in there. You know, some people say they're not that loud. Personal preference, I guess. Jim O says, does the ARC have any problems with exterior cameras around your house? I certainly hope not. Because there are lots of them out there. There are some on my rental property. And really, I don't see them being an issue. I've never heard of anybody submitting an ARC application to put a camera on. So, Chris says, Airbnb are not allowed, are they? Can't they be reported? Well, in the state of Florida, these vacation rental properties are a very strong lobbying group, and there's not a whole lot of teeth in the laws on dealing with them. You know, they said, oh, we can, you know, tax them or whatever, but there was nothing in that law that really gave any kind of teeth to addressing how you collect that. Unfortunately, you know, I know there's been a few people that have made complaints to the developer who was responsible for the interior deed restrictions. And the laws actually now favor it, having a business in your home. And deed restrictions also recognize what's in the Florida statute. So 2-3 years ago, Florida statute 559.955 went into effect. And it talks about home-based businesses. And basically, what it says is you can run your business out of your home. It's not a big deal. You can't be disruptive to the neighborhood. You can't have more than one person coming to the house every day to work there that is not a resident of the home. So, you know, if I have two people coming into my house and that's not allowed. But if I have one person, let's say I'm doing my work here, I got an assistant, helps me with editing. They could work here, and that's okay. It can't be disruptive to the neighborhood, so you can't have a whole string of cars parked out there and things like that. So the Airbnb thing would generally meet those criteria. You know, there's an issue of a guy who runs a golf cart repair business down at the south end here in the Villages. That's been a major issue. That is in violation of 559.955. Anyway, that's my take. All right, let's go back and transition. Mark says, is there any news of what the Villages will do with the property east of Buena Vista Boulevard extension south of 44? It's Villages Green on their property map. So it's designated as commercial property. This is the Buena Vista extension that the county recently built, and it has commercial property on the east side. On the west side is Wildwood Country Resort. It's a mobile home park with a few site-built homes in it. You know, eventually it'll be developed. You know, one thing about commercial property, it tends to develop slow. If you look at Lake Sumter Landing, it's not fully developed. They're still building there. And they build a new place every year or so. Brownwood also has available property. So, I think it'll be developed eventually. There's some curb cuts already in place. What it will be, who knows? Golf cart accessibility, though, probably is nil. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. So, oops, let's go back. So, this is south of County Road 470. This surfaced on Facebook. I had to think what it was called. Facebook a couple of days ago about apartments being there. And yes, so let me see, yeah, right here. You see the mouse. This is going to be an apartment complex. And this is commercial acreage or commercial properties. What this is not part of the Villages. The Villages doesn't own this. This is not the land that has been cleared yet. Okay, we go over to, oops, doggone, Apple keyboards are too sensitive. This is the off-ramp for County Road 470. Okay, when we go over here, that's this property right here. This is not part of the Villages. This is the wastewater treatment plant here and the apartment complex here. This darker green is part of the Villages. And it's this upper section here that's being cleared. On the map on the right, you see the two striped properties. That's, again, that's not owned by the Villages, but this to the right of this road going to the wastewater treatment plant, this is part of the Villages. This is what's being cleared. So this came out back in December. It was approved by Leesburg Planning in early December, and it came out. Again, this is apartments. I had forgotten all about this. I saw this, gosh, when it first came out, and I filed it away and didn't really think much of it. But I don't think it's going to be a big issue. It's not uncommon for developers to buy land and not develop it for many years to come. So we'll see what happens with this. But I don't think it's going to have a major impact on the Villages, other than commercial properties, maybe someplace people want to shop. Who knows? All right. There's the revised maps. This little guy, this is Loki. He was one of the pups that Lily had in her litter. The people who purchased Loki moved into an apartment instead of a house like they had originally planned. They couldn't keep him. 2 weeks ago, we brought him home. He's been to the vet. He's got his shots. He is bulking up really well. He's 4 months old, and he is available if somebody is interested in him. He is very sweet, very well behaved. He is now housebroken. He uses the dog door all the time, and he is so sweet. Debbie and I have been going back and forth. Do we want to keep Loki? In our hearts, we both say yes. In my head, 3 big dogs is a lot of dogs to take care of. I mean, right now, walking Lily and Sully together in the mornings, it is a challenge for the first quarter mile until they stop pulling. My fault for not training them well, but they're good. And he is very sweet. He's very cute. Again, if somebody is looking to get a dog, please call me. My number's on the screen. We can work something out. We're just looking for a good home for him that if he can live here in the Villages, all the better. If we don't get a taker soon, we'll probably just keep him anyway. And I'm a big sap. Um, let's see. Let's go back to the messages on here. And it says, let's see. Seems like the release of lots is slowing down. You're hearing anything about that? Interior lots seem to be sitting for quite a while. Thank you. So Brian, they've released a whole bunch of lots over in Shady Brook. Many more than what is typically released. Normally lots are released in, groups of 10, 15, and they released, I want to say it was close to 200 lots at one time. We're very close together. So they're doing a lot more custom builds on interior lots. It used to be custom builds would just be done on view sites, and there would be a few interior lots, but not many. Now they've done a lot of interior lots. I've got 4 houses I'm taking pictures of on Karen Gardner, and I believe they're all interior lots. But so they had a whole bunch of them, and as somebody said, they released a whole bunch on Friday over in Well Point. I've got some shots of that. That'll be in tomorrow's video. I don't think they're slowing down. I just think they're releasing them in larger lots these days. Anyway, let's see. I just got a text message in. I'll get to that in just a second. Russ told Chris, Airbnb is allowed. We rent every time we want to evaluate a new model that's not in the lifestyle area. Never had a bad experience. Other owner with allowed. Never had a bad experience. Other owner with loud TV on the lanai or unhappy dog. Okay. But before that, it was several weeks. Yeah, they don't release every week. It's been a while. Victoria says, can you talk about the guarded gates being taken away between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m.? What do you think the guarded gates actually do? Okay, so yes, I heard about that. I think it's a cost savings measure is all it is. I like them. I have one right behind my house. Next month when we open up the windows when the weather breaks, we'll hear them talking in the middle of the night because it literally is 50 feet away from my house, so we can hear them. Doesn't faze me in the least. But they're there to assist people, with directions and things like that. They are a deterrent, just like the gates are. Helps keep an honest man honest, and helps take away a little bit of the temptation. The gates themselves are for traffic control, and it makes it safer for the golf cart crossing. That's. I think they should keep them. I think they're worth every penny. There have been people come through in the middle of the night, trying to find somebody, family coming in and things like that. But that's what they're there for, to assist people coming in. And there's generally at least one in every segment. The exception to that, oh, no, it's not an exception. There's one over in Richmond. Pretty much every area. The one that was the St. Catharines, Citrus Grove, Chitty Chatty, Bradford, that area does not have a manned gate, which I think is. I think it's lacking because it does provide some value to it. So I got a text message in here, and here it is. This is from Ken. He says, Dawn, a non-political hobby question. Mary and I have become interested in drones. Under 500, preferably under 400. What can we learn? Where can we learn about the best to buy? Where can we fly them? We live in Collier. And it's from Ken. So at that price point, there are some new DJI minis that are in that price point range. You're going to miss out on things, many of the advanced features, and they don't have collision avoidance, things like that. You can get in at the under $400 range, but you're going to be, it's a much less capable drone. Where you can fly, there is no restricted airspace in the villages. You can fly pretty much anywhere you would like, but there are laws that you have to follow. You can't fly over people. You can't fly over a moving vehicle. 400 feet, maintain line of sight, things like that. When you get into that low end category that you're talking about, you're talking a relatively small drone. It's only going to be about this big. Your line of sight on that's going to be 600 to 800 feet probably. So you're not going to get a whole lot of range. Okay. Let's see. Kim says, heard the announcer calling the football game at VHS on Thursday night. Made our neighborhood feel so cozy. Reminded me of my high school years. I'll talk about it. I just made a donation to their athletic program, and I like what I see. If you go to the stadium, hopefully at the first home game, you'll see a sign up there. I'll be one of the donors. I didn't do it for the sign. I did it for the kids. But it's a great place. I can't wait to watch football games. Sorry, but Kaepernick really turned me off to professional football a few years ago with his taking a knee. And haven't really watched a whole lot since then, but I am looking forward to seeing some high school football games. Tom R. says the villages Tom R. says the village's salesperson said the three Wellpoint Waterview lots released Friday sold immediately with greater than 60 in each lottery. Not sure how many of the other 40 Wellpoint lots sold. I don't know. We can go take a look, see what's available. Let's go to the village's website, villages.com. I'll shift over to the web browser. So we're going to go to Homes. Let's see what is available, because I haven't looked today. We'll search Homes. And, all right, so that's Moultrie Creek. So there is, wow, that is a big change since yesterday when I looked, and I took some screenshots. Here you can see a bunch of interior lots with basically $0 or $5,000 lot premium. That's nothing. This I know is patio villas. This over here on this side is cottage homes. These are spec homes being built right now that aren't available in that south area. There were some Waterview lots here. And again, here's more. These are some, I'll talk about it because I'm going to talk about it in my my video when it comes out. This is where they put up the walls. It doesn't look like they're going to be veranda homes, but they're getting really big into putting up walls and making it an option to put up the fencing between them for $3,000 to give you more privacy. trying to do away with some of the kissing lanais. So, yeah. So they sold a lot of homes, so they sold a lot of lots. All right. Let's go back. Let's see. Jerry Bell says, "Oh, what are you grilling for dinner?" Baby back ribs. I've already gotten the look over the top of the monitor. My wife is saying it's time to cook the grill. East Coaster says, "I agree. Kaepernick ruined it. NFL allowed it. I stopped watching also." All right. What else? Oh, I had this one sent to me. This was on election night. Somebody took this. Let's get the. I got to get the right one here. Questions. Here we go. And I love this one. This was during election night. It says golden buzzer, and it says this is a drone. It was like, oh wow, that's cool. And then it happened to have my race up there showing the results, so it was kind of cool. Anyway, I just thought that was fun, kind of appropriate. All right. Patrick says, "Is Middleton considered another square?" I've recently been hearing this. It is not a square like we have in Lake Sumter Landing or what will be in Eastport or Brownwood. It's not going to have the nightly entertainment. It will have an entertainment venue, but it's not going to be every night. It's a different kind of layout. It's not laid out for the central location. The entertainment pavilion is between the high school and Four Rivers and Victory Sports Grill. So that's at the south end of Middleton Drive. But it's not a town square proper as we're used to seeing it. Okay, Greg R. says, the area just to the east of where you were just looking, Rosa White Run, will be new Street of Dreams model homes. Okay, that's an interesting one, considering what they just invested in the Street of Dreams. Possibly more models, but I don't think it's going to be a Street of Dreams. Street of Dreams is really a bunch of furnished ones, but we'll see. Hey, anything's possible. Darletta says, "Don, don't hear much about lots in the enclave. There are plenty of lots left for those looking. A little more room between homes and no lottery." Yeah, so there's about, 15, 20 lots left in the enclave. I know they're building homes. I booked a contract with an individual this past week in the enclave to take pictures of their home. So they are still selling, but it's going to be a select crowd. Not everybody wants that big yard. Not everybody wants a 3,000 or 3,500 square foot home that you can put on those. It's a very select crowd. And I think they'll continue to sell for several more months. It's been a year that the enclave has been open. So it's good. Diane wants to know any news on the grocery stores. Yes. But I can't say. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to confirm some information. But it's a common grocery store in the area, and just don't know which location it's going in. I'll leave it at that. All right. So what else do we have? Okay. I don't have anything else. We are at 10 minutes after 4. Russ says, "I know a night shift gate staffer up near Spanish Springs. He feels his best value add is helping with silver alerts. Seems some of the dimensions like to go for a nightly walk." Yeah. Hopefully we don't see too much of that. But thank you, Chris. Anyway, folks, that's all I've got for today. Oh, here we go. Here we go. One more. Any idea when the golf cart path will open along Marsh Bend Trail? Not yet. It is making good progress. They still have sod to put in. Um, it's the problem with that is the entrance to Lakeview, which is the village that's between Central Lake and the Bel Air Executive Course. That's going to have a lot of traffic going in and out of there, which is going to be pretty hazardous for golf carts. So I'm not sure when they're going to open it, but they are making good progress on it. Kim says, I've lost 20 pounds because of lack of groceries and eating out down here in Eastport. Okay, maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, don't eat out. It's definitely a quick way to gain weight. Anyway, folks, I'm going to go throw some ribs on the grill. Thank you all for joining. We had a great crowd today, over 100, looks like about 170 people. Lots of good questions. I appreciate you joining in. We'll do this again next week. Look for number 148 coming out in the next day or so. I got to finish up the work on it and the rework I was doing. There's going to be a different kind of video between 148 and 149. And then 150, we're going to have a special event. I should have the location and exact date for the event. It's going to be a fundraiser for Villages Public Safety, Thanksgiving dinner. That will do a premiere of video number 150. And we'll do a fundraiser at the same time. And it looks like it's going to be at one of the country clubs. So I'm looking forward to that. We did 100. Gosh, it's been 3 years now. I can't believe that. It's been that long. But it was a big hit. And hopefully this one will be just as big. Anyway, enjoy life. It's a great place to live. We're very fortunate living in this country. And, take life and live it to its fullest. We don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know if you're going to get out of bed tomorrow morning. So live today for the day, party on, Anyway, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you later.